Hi, I'm Turtle.
And I'm Bear.
And welcome to Slovenia. We're here at the castle of Lake Bled, probably the nicest place to catch a sunset in the entirety of Bled. Plus you get to see a bunch of cool historical stuff. So come with us, we're gonna go show you around.
So this is our 2-day tour of Lake Bled, and I wish we would have had more time because there's really so much to do around here.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, next time we go by, we'll definitely spend a little more than 2 days, especially we want to spend longer in Slovenia. You guys are going to fall in love with this little country as we go. And I'm even thinking about maybe like eventually when we have a summer house to run away from Florida in the heat of the summer, it might be like right there. It's just such a beautiful place. And when you first get there, you're going to realize that parking is really hard to get. And so the first thing I suggest is you go by the Spar, which is right uphill from it, and they've got plenty of parking there. Go shopping, get yourself a little bit of food, and then you have about 2 hours where you can go walk around and have a picnic without them like ticketing you or anything. Welcome to Lake Bled, and we decided to start it all off with a little Zabitek, which is something that we picked up at the Spar, which is a grocery store where you can park for an hour and a half if you want a little budget hack. And I got one with like a cheesecake smelling / looking. Yeah. It's like cheesecake, but it's like the sour cheesecake that you get, but it's not as firm, so it's like a crumbly sour cheesecake. It's really good. Good one on the first.
Sounds really good. I got the exact same type of pastry. This one looks like it's got some sort of apples, maybe some cinnamon. It's really good. It's really sweet. It's like a cold apple pie. But it goes well together, and it was, what did you say, it was like
$1.59.
Yeah. Steal.
Well, nothing like cooling down on a nice warm fall day with a delectable beer and good company.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about it.
Amen. So this is one of my favorite beers from Prague. They don't seem to have a whole lot of a beer game here. Almost everything in there was from Prague. They have a really, really nice beer garden that you definitely want to see if you go to Prague. And it's even cheaper there. It's like $1 a beer in Prague, and you're sitting there, and it's beautiful, and it's awesome. So, Nastrobia. And it tastes just like I remember it. It's got a really chocolatey, malty note, which is nice. And then his Pilsner is actually their original Pilsner. They're only 30 miles from the place that invented Pilsner.
Yeah, it's a Pilsner. It's drinkable.
It's good.
Lake Bled has been on my radar for a while. You see all the pictures of it, and it's so beautiful. And honestly, as amazing as all the pictures are and all the videos and everything, it really doesn't give it justice from actually being there. Especially because we really didn't have a great luck on that trip with weather. But when we were in Lake Bled, like the weather was perfect. And it just, I couldn't have asked for a better 2 days there, and I don't even know how to put it into words. Just go and see it for yourself. Yeah, every angle of this is amazing, but I will tell you the very best angle does take at least some exercise or a little bit of money, because you want to get out in the middle of the water and take it in as a 360. When you go to Bled, Slovenia, you have to go to Lake Bled. And one of the top attractions is to go over to the island in the middle, which has this beautiful church. There's a couple ways to get there. One way is to take a charter boat. They're really cool wooden boats, and they'll take you to the island and back for like 15 euros. And I think they give you like 35, 40 minutes on the island. Or you could rent your own rowboat and see as much of the lake as you want and spend a lot more time there, and it's really beautiful. It's a magical experience, and I highly recommend it.
So I was considering taking Alan with us on our world trip just for security, but we're also going to bring him to row. We rode over to the Lady of the Lake Island here and the Church of the Assumption of Mary. And you can either take the little rowboats that we took, or you can get somebody else to row you over here. A little less expensive in the long run to do the rowboat, plus you kind of have control on what you see and where you go. There's also a bell here where you can ring it and get a wish.
There's lots of wishes coming true up there right now. The tower behind me houses a bell that has a pretty famous history. It's legend that there was a very tragic widow whose husband was killed by robbers, and she was so devastated that she took all of her silver and gold and paid for a commemorative bell to remember her husband forever and to be placed into the church. But on its way here, there was an enormous storm, and all of the boatmen who were bringing the bell over died. So the widow of that captain actually joined a nunnery, and after she passed, there was an additional new bell that was put into this tower. And even though it's had a really tragic past, it has a great future, because everybody who comes to this beautiful island on Lake Bled and rings the bell gets a wish for every ring that they pull.
And this island's so much more than the church. I didn't realize that. There's so many things to like walk around and see. So many beautiful angles of the lake, especially if you get lucky with the weather like we did. And the sun was beating down. It was nice and warm, which we didn't get a whole lot on that trip.
Yeah, so that's perfect, because one of the other things to do on this island is to get some gelato.
And even though it's a nice brisk day, one of the most popular things to do up here is to have some gelato. And I got some pistachio, which I know I love. And then there was one called walnut pumpkin oil. And I thought, hey, that sounds good. That is nifty. I don't even know if there's another word for it. It's very, very sugar forward, but it kind of tastes like pumpkin pie with too much walnut. It's cool.
And I also got some gelato. The top is very traditional Italian gelato. It's like almost like a Nutella, and then it usually has like little cherries in it, which is pretty good. And the second one is more Slovenian, especially the Bled area. It's their cream cake, which is a very popular dessert. I'm looking forward to trying, but it's their version of their ice cream.
It's very interesting, isn't it?
It's pretty good. It's kind of like a cheesecake. It's a little bit more bitter, and it has a little bit of a lemony flavor to it. And then it's got a bunch of like crumbly stuff on it, which is supposed to be like the crust. So pretty delightful. I'm happy with my selection.
He knows all the words.
Yep, all of them.
All of them.
Kiss me, my darling.
It's now or never. Come hold me tight. Kiss me, my darling. Be mine tonight.
And all that rowing and walking and sunlight, we really worked up an appetite.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah, so I and Alan really worked up an appetite, and so we got back to land and we thought we would skip on over to our favorite restaurant in the area, and it too, as all of them, had a wonderful view.
And when you're walking around, you'll see there's several restaurants with views of the lake. So we would definitely wanted to make sure to find a place that had some traditional stuff and maybe something not so traditional with a view of that lake. Wherever we go, we always have to try the local favorites, especially the drinks. And here, it's called the Diesel, and it's a mixture of their Herter beer, which is the local Pilsner, and cola. So it gives it this really cool color, and sounds really interesting. It's really cool. You got the sweetness of the cola and then the sour bitterness of the beer. It doesn't have super high IBUs, so it's really well balanced. think it's pretty good. I decided to start with a nice soup. This is Mama Nita's beef soup, and it doesn't actually have any beef in it. It looks like it's a beef stock, and it's got like chives in it, and then it's got like those pancake things that they like to use in Germany and Austria.
I would go in there.
It's good. It's very salty. It's definitely like a beef stock. The pancakes have a weird, almost sweetness to them. It's a really interesting combination.
My mushroom soup is so freaking adorable, almost too adorable to eat, except for that I'm starving. So I'm gonna take the, I think edible, it looks like a little bread bowl. Give it a little dunk in there and see. Got lots of mushrooms, maybe a little bit of cheese. I love anything crunchy, and I love all things mushroom, so this is a winner for me.
So I got venison goulash, which seems like such an awesome thing to have here. Plus they had a fresh baked baguette with it. Oh. Wow, this is like a meal in and of itself. The broth is just perfect, and they slow cooked the venison for a long time.
And
This
suddenly
is just delicious
somebody
by
else
itself.
is getting into the frame and just taking a little dab there and get right back out.
Dealer. So far so good. The soups are really all great. This venison goulash though has got to be the highlight for me so far.
Our first main entree was like this meat platter, and similar to what we've had before, it was a lot of sausage and pork and beef, and it was yummy.
The last meat they have here is a pork chop. It's a little piece of pork chop here. It was only 40 euros for all of that meat, and so that was a really good bargain as far as I was concerned. It's got a nice char to it, and it's really delicious, as were all of the meats that Brendan tried. I've been enjoying the heck out of this plate. And we even have a whole nother pizza resistance here.
And the pizza was pretty good. It was a nice brick oven pizza, but I thought that the sign that they had was really funny. I wish the camera could have caught it. It said something like, pizza is like sex, because if it's good, it's very good, and if it's bad, it's still not that bad.
Yeah, I think that was probably written by a guy.
So if you've ever seen any YouTube videos or read anything about Lake Bled, you'll probably come across like their main dessert. I was really looking forward to it. It's like a cream cheesecake thing, and it's really dense, and man, it was awesome. So we went and looked at TripAdvisor. We found this place. They had a good one, and I don't know what happened. Maybe we lost the footage, but we don't have a recording of trying the like traditional one. But Dad got one with like peach preserves or something on top, and we do have some footage of that for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes we like turn things on or we turn things off. I can tell you it was delicious, and so was this one. This is Slovenian cheesecake, and you can see it's really dense, and it's got a nice thick crust. It's also got apricot jelly on top of it, and then they caramelize it just really quick in the broiler. It's a really fresh, nice cheesecake with the apricots mixed into it, and I really enjoy it.
And on the second day, we recommend waking up early and going and doing some things outside of Lake Bled, especially the Social Valley.
Another thing that you can do if you want like an alternative to that is you can go to Ljubljana. Ljubljana is a beautiful capital and one of the few capitals that didn't get bombed during World War II.
Yeah, it was really cool, but we don't want to talk too much about that because next week's video is going to be all about these 2-day trips. So stay tuned for that. Next thing we wanted to do was get over to the castle, and it's a perfect thing to do at sunset. This is an 11th century castle. It's absolutely beautiful, And it started in just like the early 11th century as, I guess, kind of like a summer home for King Henry, and then he donated it to someone, and then they built the castle in 1011. And since then it's had a lot of history. There was some Catholic, and then eventually it was Protestant, and there's a really beautiful Protestant cathedral in there.
And the thing that you really pay for when you come in here, because there's a restaurant where you can go to eat, and I don't think you have to pay to go in there, is the museum. And it's a really cool museum. There's a lot of artifacts from all of the different, almost 1,000 years worth of history that you've got in there. And of course, as an archaeologist and a museum curator, I probably spent a little bit more time there than everybody else would, but it's very enjoyable, and you can get through it in about an hour and a half if you're me, and maybe like a half an hour if you're just like a normal guy, and then get yourself back outside before the sunset.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love to see that there weren't just artifacts from the castle. There was a lot of stuff from beforehand, and you could really see all of the history of this area. It was really awesome. But once you're done with that, definitely take advantage of the fact that it's a castle. It has more than one story. So get up on the higher levels and look at that beautiful view over the water. I can see why they built a castle here.
Yeah, we say find yourself on a journey, like at the end of everyone, and we'll probably say it again here in just a minute, because that's how we like to think about it. The more perspectives you can have, not just from a castle and looking out, but from a culture and from a food and from just experiencing everything, getting your feet in the water no matter how cold it is. It's all about finding what you are in that place, I think, and so I loved it there.
And I really like the printing shop. One of the cool parts about the history of the castle is that it was kind of the inspiration for one of the first Slovenian books. And the way they made these books was with this really awesome contraption.
These two books were first in Slovenian language.
Nice. Cool.
And here I have at the moment little picture of castle. Here I can say today I use this roller, but they didn't use rubber rollers in the beginning.
Yeah.
They used this.
Oh wow.
So they tape
Yeah,
it here
leather hide
and
on
here.
it.
Yeah. But specialty, they make this out of dog skin originally. Dogs don't sweat. You know?
Yeah.
No pores, waterproof.
Yeah.
So colors stay here, didn't go through. That was the reason. But yeah, in these days I use the roller, kind of like my dog, so change that part. Okay. So here, and now paper. This is all handmade paper, so we make it at home, taking from water one by one, and with different decorations inside. Oh yeah, now just press this, and there's a print.
Oh wow.
So every time, colored paper, and that's how it works.
Wow. Nice.
That's awesome.
Everything here today I print like this, yeah, but not a lot of books, just this one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, pictures, bookmarks, well, this will be a magnet, that's why it's so small.
All right.
Or like this is possible to print with names. I mean, for the text, then I use these letters. These are 40, 50 years old at least, because they stopped using this technique
Yeah.
40, 50 years ago. It was quite important technique considering it was in use for more than 500 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So in short, this is what I do. Of course,
Yeah.
feel free to look around, just that
Yeah.
you know what I make.
Good.
The lower part is about printing. You can also see upstairs, it's a little bit about history of first Slovenian book.
Nice.
And over there is also a gallery. It's changing every month, different local artists. So if you like something, come here. Okay.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe one more thing, one question for you. You know expressions uppercase and lowercase?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know where that comes from?
No, actually.
Here. This is case, well, not from the castle,
Yeah.
from the old printing. This is case with letters, so uppercase I keep capital letters, and lowercase here I have small ones, so position of letters.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
We use this on computers, but yeah, this is the original version of it.
Awesome.
very
That's really cool.
Thank you.
And one of the things that I always appreciate is when somebody's like in period garb and they know their stuff, because it's almost like a repository of history, and you can go into a museum and you can read things, and if you're the type of learner who learns from that, hey, that's good on you, but almost everybody's going to learn from somebody actually showing them how to use a printing press and why uppercase and lowercase. And that was really, I think that guy was almost the highlight besides the sunset for me.
And another highlight for me was the wine cellar. And they had a lot of different kinds of wines to try, and the ambiance is really beautiful, and we just had a good time. It's a great evening.
And you can pay to try the wines. You could be like the Norwegian friends that we had in there, and I swear they were like trying every single wine. Probably left there drunk because there's just wine all over the place. We bought a couple of them and enjoyed them the next day.
And the sunset was gorgeous. We don't really have footage of it. We were moving around a lot, but it was really pretty. But one thing I hear that's even better is the sunrises. So check out this Envato footage.
Yeah, I also hear you can get a sunrise from way up on the other side of the hill that may be even better, and I've seen that on a few YouTubes. So sunrise, sunset, you definitely want to be on this lake. And I got to tell you, I want to spend like 2-3 months every summer maybe in the Slovenian Alps. It's beautiful, it's inexpensive. It was really impressive to me how much food you could get for so little money, and the places are inexpensive and the people were friendly, and we really had a good time, and we're just getting started on that.
Yep.
Yeah, next week we're going to talk about a bunch of road trips that you can do from there.
Yeah, Socha Valley's right next to it, and there's so many beautiful things to see there and here. And then you've got cities like Bovec and Ljubljana, and those places are pretty amazing too.
Yeah, I hope you guys find this entertaining and hope that you found yourself putting a thumbs up or subscribing or something like that. And as always, find yourself on the journey.